The first sound Lyra ever heard was the whisper of leaves, not the rustle of wind through dry branches, but the gentle murmur of trees that had seen countless seasons come and go, each one etched in the rings of their being. She had known nothing else but silence for as long as she could remember. No lullaby had ever graced her ears, no story made its way into her life. The closest she had come to human contact was when the baker's daughter had placed a basket at the edge of the clearing where Lyra lived, leaving her gifts of bread and cheese and once, just once, a wildflower that smelled of sunshine and dreams. But then the girl had stopped coming, and the silence had returned, settling around Lyra like a shroud, muffling the world and its wonders from her ears. In that silence, though, something else bloomed, curiosity. Why was she all alone? Where did the sounds come from? What lay beyond the familiar trees that whispered her name in the breeze? With every passing day, the questions echoed in her heart, growing louder until they consumed her. She needed answers. She needed to break the silence. Then one day she heard it, the distant thud of feet on soft earth, the snap of a twig underfoot, the clear chime of a young voice singing a wordless tune. Hope unfurled within her, fragile yet tenacious. Could it be? Was she not alone? Gathering her courage, Lyra stepped out of her hiding place, her bare feet padding silently on the moss. The singing grew louder, pulling her deeper into the woods, and there she saw him. He moved with the grace of a stag, his laughter echoing like the song of running brooks. His hair was the color of sunlit wheat, his eyes shone like polished amber, and his gaze, when it turned towards her, held the warmth of a hearth fire. His name was Kieran, and as he stood there looking at her, the silence between them began to spin a story. He told her about the world beyond the forest, about towns and villages, about rolling hills and sparkling rivers, and about a place called Whisperwood, where the trees sang songs that could mend a broken heart. And as he spoke, Lyra felt a stirring within her, a rekindling of something long forgotten, something akin to joy. With Kieran by her side, the forest took on a new melody. The wind became a playful friend, ruffling their hair and dancing around them as they raced through the trees. The babbling brook became a storyteller, sharing tales of distant lands with them as they skipped stones across its surface. The very leaves whispered secrets of forgotten magic, and Lyra found herself listening intently, her heart pounding with anticipation. Days turned into weeks, and Lyra learned the language of the forest, the language of love and laughter, of adventure and dreams. Under Kieran's guidance, she discovered the magic in the mundane, the wonder in the everyday. He showed her how to read the signs in nature, how to find solace in solitude and strength in silence. And as the seasons changed, painting the forest in hues of gold and crimson, a profound change came over Lyra. The fear of the silence had vanished, replaced by an appreciation for its depth and tranquility. The loneliness that had been her constant companion was now a distant memory. But then, as suddenly as it had begun, the laughter ceased. The trees fell silent, and a heavy stillness settled over the forest, heralding the arrival of Fen, the guardian of the woods and keeper of ancient prophecies. His presence was like a storm cloud on the horizon, dark and foreboding, and as he approached them, the very air grew cold. "Kieran," he boomed, his voice echoing with the weight of ages. "We meet again." There was a tension in his tone, a hint of accusation that sent shivers down Lyra's spine. Kieran stood tall, his gaze unwavering. "Fen," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "What brings you here?" Fen's eyes, like chips of ice, seemed to pierce through Kieran, and Lyra's heart pounded in her chest. "Do not play coy with me, Kieran," Fen said, his voice like the grinding of glaciers. "I know what has transpired here. You have broken the ancient laws, betrayed the trust placed in you." Lyra stepped forward, her hand finding Kieran's. She didn't understand what was happening, but she sensed that this moment held immense importance. The silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant call of a bird. Finally, Kieran spoke, his voice a low rumble. I have done nothing wrong. My actions have brought balance, not chaos. Balance, Fen echoed, his voice dripping with scorn. You speak of balance, yet you have invited the very darkness we have sworn to contain. The prophecy foretold your return, Kieran, and with you, the harbinger of shadows. Together, you will bring ruin upon us all. As Fen spoke, golden gleams flashed in his eyes, revealing the depths of his sorrow and his anger. Lyra's heart clenched. She couldn't comprehend the prophecy or the darkness Fen mentioned, but she saw the pain etched on Kieran's face. The light in his eyes dimmed, replaced by a deep sadness. I am not the darkness, Kieran whispered, his gaze fixed on the forest floor. She is not the darkness. His eyes, filled with anguish, met Fen's gaze. It is I who have brought shadows upon us. I am the darkness, but I can still be the light. Please, Fen, believe me. I had hoped for more from you, Kieran, Fen said, his voice heavy with disappointment. Now the prophecy moves forward. The choice my brothers and I will make it. You must leave before the council arrives. Take her with you. When he looked back at Lira, his expression softened, and she saw not darkness, but fear. Go, he urged, extending a hand towards her. Find the Whisperwood. There, the ancient magic will guide you both. Go now, and do not look back. Lira clung to Kieran's hand as they fled into the darkening forest. The silence around them was no longer peaceful. It was thick with unspoken fears and fading memories. As they ran, the wind seemed to moan in mournful tones, and the trees, once friendly faces, now loomed over them like silent sentinels. The forest grew denser, the path unclear. Panic threatened to consume her, but then, through the tangle of branches, Lira saw a glimmer of light. With renewed determination, she pulled Kieran towards it, whispering his name like a prayer. Suddenly, the trees parted, revealing a clearing bathed in ethereal glow. In the center stood a majestic oak, its branches reaching towards the heavens like welcoming arms, and as they approached, Lira felt a surge of hope. Could this be the Whisperwood? As they stepped into the clearing, the tree shimmered, its bark rippling with otherworldly energy. The wind, now gentle and warm, caressed their faces, and the trees around them rustled in soft, melodious voices. Welcome, children of light, the ancient oak boomed, its voice resonating with power. Come, rest beneath my branches, and let the Whisperwood heal your wounds. Lira collapsed against the oak, tears streaming down her face. The prophecy, the darkness, the impending doom. She looked up at Kieran, seeking answers in his eyes, but saw only confusion and fear. As the night deepened, the oak's glow intensified, enveloping them in its comforting embrace. Lira felt a soothing warmth spreading through her, calming her racing heart and easing her troubled mind. Then, as if guided by an unseen force, she rose and walked towards the center of the clearing. Kieran followed, his gaze fixed on hers, his presence a reassuring anchor in the growing darkness. Before them, an altar of smooth, polished stone awaited, and upon it rested a single white feather. Its tip glittered, sending shafts of light dancing around them. As Lira reached out to touch it, the feather glowed brightly, illuminating the clearing in an otherworldly luminescence. The wind swirled around her, carrying the scent of rain and the sound of wings. A vision unfolded before her eyes. She saw herself standing tall, her silhouette framed by the radiant glow of the feather. Her heart pounded, and she knew instinctively that this was her destiny, her purpose. With newfound clarity, Lira turned to Kieran. His face, usually so full of warmth and laughter, was now etched with worry. Kieran, she whispered, her voice echoing with newfound strength. I must do this. He stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. Are you sure? There is still time to turn back. No, Lira said, meeting his gaze with unwavering determination. This is not just a tale. It is a reckoning, and you, dear listener, are part of it now. Your choices have brought you to this moment, and from here, only you can decide where the story goes next. Will you stay and face the shadows with me, or will you run and hide, leaving me to face this alone? The forest held its breath, the wind still, the leaves silent. All eyes turned to Kieran, waiting for his response, waiting for him to choose his path, to shape their collective destiny. Would he stay and fight alongside Lira, or would he flee, abandoning her to the darkness? The fate of the Whisperwood, perhaps the fate of the entire world, hung in the balance.